Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of Joy Asonya Live. I'm excited to be here. As usual, we'll be discussing political issues around Nigeria. But first, we'll take you to a report of the Norseman Club International that has just recently concluded its 2026 Leadership Stakeholders and SMEs Training Retreat, tagged Catalina 2026. With a renewed focus on leadership reform, economic empowerment, and institutional accountability, the retreat featured engagements with financial and business experts as members received training on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and access to funding. The report. The DNKI Leadership Stakeholders Retreat, Catalina 2026, brought together leaders and members of the Norseman Club International for strategic discussions on constitutional leadership, unity, and sustainable development. Addressing the press, the international president of DNKI, Dr. Anye Kanabasi Paulinus Alban, described the retreat as a leadership reset aimed at strengthening transparency, accountability, and service to humanity.
But what we are doing here today is different. These men you are seeing speaking to you are men that have been able to execute multi-billion naira engagement. Am I?
You're right, sir. You're right.
Maybe you don't know, but you need to know. So, you being here is a very big opportunity to learn to be a billionaire. How do you become a billionaire? Show me your friend and tell me who you are. Today, your international president is a multi-billionaire. I'm not saying it. Multi. If you doubt, come and say, verify. But if I didn't take this risk, okay?
Yes.
I won't be where I am today. I want us to understand that life is a risk. Who dares? You have to dare. You have to take challenge. You have to stand up. You have to be a man. And you have to do things differently. If not, if you don't get money, be zombie. So why I'm saying all I'm saying now, because I want to change that our mindset. It is in your mind. It is in your mind. I was the first person to assess COVID NISAL loan in Akwa Ibom State because I was strategic. I was following up.
90% of, I'm talking from the background of a banker.
Okay, sir.
90% of successful businessmen use loan. You can hardly be a successful businessman without access loans.
Yes.
That is why
I mentioned Dangote.
You mentioned
Dangote.
Mm-hmm. There was one time, I don't know, about 3, 4, 5 years ago, they decided to bring out successful businessmen in Nigeria.
Yes.
And none of the successful businessmen that did not access back loan to improve their business.
God bless you.
Now, bank loan, like I said, is good if you want to use it for the purpose for which you access the loan. But if you take a bank loan like 3 million and you possibly need just 1 million, and you use the other 2 million to either go and marry a second wife
or third
wife, or you use it to go and buy a car, to do big man. When it is time to pay, it becomes difficult. That is where they will catch in on your collateral.
Yes.
So bank business is good. But in assessing a bank loan, I will advise that do your homework. Like we started from business development. Identify the business, know where you are going with that business, do your market survey, and then if you assess the loan, you'll be able to use it to improve your business and improve yourself at the same time. Bank loan is good.
Thank you, sir.
Use it for the purpose for you use the bank loan, and you will not get into trouble.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
A major highlight of the retreat was the financial empowerment sessions where resource persons, including consultants from the Bank of Industry, trained participants on business development, compliance, and access to loans and grants.
Okay, they forget that there are criteria set before the loan can be given. We have what we call the 5 C's for credit delivery. We also have what we call the Campari model for credit delivery. I don't know if you permit me, maybe...
Go ahead.
If you permit me, I can make clear what we mean by the 5 C's for credit delivery, so that people will see that it's not all about the fact that we want loan, but the fact that there are conditions to be met before you get the loan. And that's why some people are unable to get this loan, because those conditions have not been met. The first of the character. And you find out that even as business entities, if your past record does not show this idea of talk and do, I will pay when I say I will pay, I will give you what I say when I say I will. Of course, if character is eroded, nobody will give you loan, not even as friends. You meet my brother, please give me 5,000, I'm going to give you the next 2 days. In the next 1 week, you have disappeared from his side. Character. The next C is what we call capacity. If you don't have the capacity to contract, credit delivery itself is contractual in nature. So once you don't have that capacity to contract, no bank, no financial institution will enter into any kind of financial contract with you. The next C is capital. Nobody, let me use this scenario. I have a son. He wants a vehicle. I have capacity to give him a vehicle. But the logical thing, if I'm a good father, I'll ask, what do you need the vehicle for? And when he gives me a satisfactory answer relative to what he wants the vehicle for, I'll now ask him, if I mean well for him, how much do you have? If he says he does not have any, and assuming the vehicle is 10 million, and I buy a 10 million naira vehicle for him, he would not value that vehicle. But if he says, Daddy, I have 500,000, and I provide a 9.5 million, I can bet you his 500,000 naira contribution becomes the height that will make him to value that vehicle and use. So you must have your starting point, the capital. And then there's what we call conditions. You and I will know that with respect to the system we find ourselves, it was a lot easier, to get funds some 2 regimes before, because the economic conditions, is quite different. If the economic condition is very, very tight, I can bet you it becomes very, very difficult for someone to tell you, I will give you support, that is credit. And then I think the last C, which unfortunately the majority of us think it is the most important, is collateral. the people never, the credit deliverers do not really bank more on collateral like they bank on character. So collateral too is the last of the 5 C's. And then these new bank-specific models, Campari, the character is there, the ability to pay back this money if given to you will be said. What business are you doing? What is exactly the thing you are doing that will be sure that you can generate the fund to pay back? And then the means, and then the purpose, and then the amount, repayment plan, and then insurance. So the banks will consider the Campari model and will consider the 5 C's before they give you credit.
Participants were also exposed to practical financial education designed to promote self-reliance and sustainable livelihoods. To demonstrate commitment beyond policy, the DNKI leadership announced a 50 million naira takeoff grant as an equity contribution to support members' business initiatives, with additional institutional funding support expected through the Bank of Industry.
You have to be disciplined. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have to be self-disciplined. This money, however, is coming. Are you understanding me?
Yes.
And I will say it right now to the hearing. We, in the leadership of DNKI, I don't know if you have gotten there, but I will use this platform to say it. It's making available 50 million as equity contribution.
Clap, 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 clap.
The funds, according to the leadership, will be transparently managed through the Norsemen Multipurpose Limited framework. Beyond economic empowerment, the retreat reaffirmed DNKI's commitment to welfare, community development projects, and structured support for members, including the families of fallen members. Catalina 2026 is being described by stakeholders as a defining moment in repositioning DNKI towards responsible leadership, economic empowerment, and sustainable impact. Welcome from that. It's time to go for a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing what's going on among political parties, especially the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
For your news on the go, ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms. An Avo TV app, ADBN Channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Linuxville TV app. To get the latest news straight to your phone, join our WhatsApp TV channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across social media handles. On X at ADBN TV, Instagram at ADBN TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV. Keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
Do you know what gamalin 20 is? It is a dangerous chemical pesticide never meant for human consumption. Sadly, some fishermen illegally use gamalin 20 to catch fish, poisoning not just the water, but the food on your plate. Here's how to spot fish caught with gamalin 20. Fish that look unusually fresh but stiff. A strange chemical smell, sometimes like kerosene, when cooked. Pale or bleached gills, peeling scales, or sunken eyes. Eating such fish can cause nausea, vomiting, and even damage your liver and kidneys. In severe cases, it can lead to life-threatening health complications. Remember, using gamalin 20 for fishing is a crime. It harms people, rivers, and marine life. Protect your health. Buy fish only from trusted sellers. Report suspicious fishing practices to the authorities. Together, let's keep our waters safe and our meals healthy.
Welcome back. Now, the African Democratic Congress has recently launched a sweeping nationwide membership drive aimed at expanding its support base and positioning itself as a formidable political force ahead of the 2027 general elections. According to media reports, this campaign is part of a broader strategy to mobilize ordinary Nigerians across all geographical zones and deepen grassroots engagement. This surge in activity is connected with what the politicians are doing in various parties and exploring new political platforms and collaborations. While the ADC is trying to get inclusive into the Nigeria's political scene, the party's ability to genuinely transform the trajectory of Nigerian politics is there. Joining us today in the conversation is Comrade Kozim Olamilekon Shoneye, the Ogun State Coordinator for ADC Coalition Support Network. He would explore Nigerians' reception or receptivity of the membership drive, the role of youth participation, dynamics across and around the merging or cooperation with other political parties like the Labour Party, and broader expectations for Nigeria's political future. Joining me all the way from Ogun State is Comrade Kozim Olamilekon. Comrade?
Well, I'm here.
Fantastic. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on today's edition. I guess my first question would be, so much is going on right now. We're having alignment from all parts, all political parties. Your ADC, the ADC just is going to start its membership drive as well. So I guess my first question would be, how excited and receptive are Nigerians and young people especially? Are they confused because we're seeing several Labour Party faces in the ADC? Kozim, are you there?
Well, I'm here.
Okay. If you heard my question, can you kindly respond?
Well, can you come again? I don't get the question.
Okay, I was asking, I said, so much is going on. The ADC is about to start its membership drive. And I'm asking, so far in your engagement with people, especially in your local, in your state, where would you say the Nigerian young person's head is at? Are they excited about this, about the ADC?
Well, thank you very much. Concerning your answer to the question, we employ the youth because the ADC is a party of youth, women and youth. You see, well, today, unless we are deceiving ourselves, ADC is the only strong opposition in the whole Nigeria now. Concerning my state, Ogun State, well, the flag off has been taken today. By the special grace of God, we will try our best to sanitize people, to let them know, not that we should just join ADC for fun stuff. Join ADC because we want better Nigeria. Join ADC because we want all these bad governors to be eradicated. So, we try our best, as I said, to sanitize the youth, the women, the market women, the geologists, biologists, and citizens of Nigeria, to let them know that the reason that they have to be part of ADC member. So thank you very much.
Okay, you didn't quite finish a statement you had started there. I wanted to know what you meant when you say the ADC is the only political party, and you ended it there. What were you trying to get at? Because the ADC obviously is not the only political party.
Oh, no, what I mean is that ADC is the only strong opposition, political party opposition
Okay.
in Nigeria.
Okay.
Strong opposition party. Is the only strong opposition party. And no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Well, that's
there is a lot of political parties that are not disputing that. There's a lot of political parties. But a strong opposition party for now, it is ADC. So that's what I'm trying to insulate.
Well, the ADC has pledged, I mean, for some of us who reported on the issue earlier, on that convergence earlier, has pledged to allocate significant leadership slots to young people and women, indicating an inclusive agenda. That's exciting, but we've heard that severally from other political parties as well. What strategies are young people in the party doing to ensure that this would not be what we've heard in several other parties before, and indeed this inclusive agenda will be seen through?
Oh, thank you very much. I like that question. You see, you will not see a party that will not say that my party is for women and youth. But to stand out, to make it, what makes it stand out is this. We are, if you see from the national level, go and search on the national level. Those who are there is people that they talk and they follow their words. If they say they are going to do this, just take it, they are going to do it. And if you go and look very well, the national ESCOs, when we are talking about youth leader, go and see the youth leader that we have. Go and see the deputy. You will see that the youth leader and the deputy is a woman, the youth leader is a man, and you will see them, they are young people. They are very young. So it is not the party that we say we are for women and youth. So at the end of the day, you will see like 60, 70, 80 old man in the, no. The ADC, even we, as I'm talking, I'm a youth. I'm a member of the NYCN, National Youth Councils of Nigeria. I'm a member. So we are all across the states, even ADC CSN, all the state coordinators are youth. All the ESCOs are youth. Even our national lead, ADC CSN, our national lead is a youth. Even if I can say his age, he's just 40 years now. Yes, 40 years now. So we are all youth. So majority of the people in ADC today are youth. Even the leadership, most of the leadership, majority of the leadership in ADC today are youth. So that is what makes ADC stand out. So we are not like, whatever we say is what we do. That is ADC for you. Thank you very much.
Because when we talk about young people in Nigerian political scene, it is often, you're unsure it's relatable. While you would say the likes of Atiku, David Mark, El-Rufai are young people, because you said the majority of your leadership are youth, and when you look at these people, I don't know where you see the youthfulness in that. However, I don't know if you quite understood the question I asked, because above everything, what are the strategies young people are putting on the ground to ensure that you would, beyond this statement, it would be implemented? For instance, is it part of your constitution that certain slot must be given to young people at certain levels, because the conversation around youth participation in politics has been a big issue, and political parties' readiness to support young people is one of the biggest issues that we have often faced in that regard. So beyond these statements and very noble declarations, what are you doing to hold, have a tangible framework that you can hold on to, that will give anyone looking at the ADC at the moment some sort of assurance and confidence?
Well, thank you. If I said the majority of the leadership of ADC are youth, normally I don't deceive myself and I don't deceive someone. David Mark, Atiku, El Rifai, what else? They are minority out of the majority I'm talking about. You see, I said, I did not say all the leadership. I said majority of the leadership are youth. So it is not possible for us to say we do not need the elderly people. It is not possible. We need them because they are the ones to put us through. Right. And the way David Mark is,
Kozim, are you there? Okay. Like I said earlier, it's often interesting when we're discussing who the young people are, but the ADC had made it very clear that the target here is towards young people. So it will be fine. It will be interesting to know how that pans out, as very often we see young people from one breath, almost as if they are discussing engagement in politics, participating and taking up leadership roles, but from the other breath, it's almost as if they are not ready for these leadership positions. So it would be nice to have Kazim there. I hope I'm informed quickly when he comes back, so that we could have a seamless conversation. But above everything, the observers have also questioned this rapid mobilization. For those who have been following the political terrain, we already know that the APC had recently also had a mobilization or registration drive, and had claimed that millions of Nigerians took upon themselves, used that opportunity to register as APC members. Very concerning is the dynamism of our political space, where it's almost as if during the just concluded general elections, the 2023 elections, it was very interesting to see that when Atiku gets to a certain stadium, it is packed full. When Tinubu gets to that stadium, it is just as packed full. So it was obvious these people were recycling themselves. But with party registration, is there some sort of database, some sort of server that says you have registered with the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, the ADC, you can no longer register here? Because I know my Nigerians, we like to test waters. What's in it for the ADC? I will not put both feet until I'm sure. But if the registration drive is ongoing, I would do it. And I've had conversations with young people who say, I am for everyone and I'm not for a no one. So it's interesting to see how this goes. I wish there was a database to say, you know what, you're here and you're here. But then, where did we learn this from? Isn't it from the older political players who leave political parties? They wake up in one, they go to bed in one and wake up in another, depending on how it favors them. But when it's important, like what we're discussing today, what is the Nigerian youth really aiming for? What would characterize favor when we discuss this membership drive? What determines your endearment towards a political party? Is it that you have favorite leaders in it, or those you consider young, or you have ideologies What are those ideologies that makes you stand out now that their political parties are out there canvassing for registration? And I'm also excited that there's for once a database. Political parties can actually beat their chest. I remember that fight, that back and forth between certain political parties where you say, we have the biggest numbers, and the other one will say, no, that's not right, we have the biggest numbers. But I hope there will be, for once, there will be a genuine numbers that we can address, and not mischievous numbers that politicians want to use as some sort of political bragging rights. We would like to see proper numbers and to see how participating young people are. Recently, we could at least see that activities that the build up to elections, where we see young people discussing these issues, talking about when it was said that the Senate was to expunge the real time in the conversations around our electioneering transmission of results. It was nice to see that young people celebrated, or rather participated in that conversation, to ensure that they were not left aside. They had their voices heard, discussing this real-time transmission of results, and until it was eventually, of course, brought back. That right there is what I mean when I talk about young people participating enough to change the course of these issues. So it's exciting to see all of that. At this moment, we'll just go for a quick break. When we return, we'll get established connection again with Kazim to discuss some of these issues, addressing what's going on with the ADC, how receptive are people to registering with the ADC. Most importantly, I can't wait to get to the point where in the conversation we'll discuss the obedience, because these days, is it AD Labour, AD Obedience Party? We're yet unsure. Has the Labour Party dropped their tools to merge with the ADC completely, or what's the dynamism of the relationship? Because you see from one end the Labour Party leadership saying, oh, they are very happy for P2B for aligning with the ADC, and from the other breath, it seems like they are also moving on. Not to mention the Labour Party also has its parallel. Again, it gets dizzy when you get into it, but we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll connect again with Kazim and have that conversation. Stay with us. This is still Joy Asonya Live.
Step into the heartbeat of the world, where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world's unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to FCT in Focus, your window to the vibrant heartbeat of Nigeria's capital. We dive deep into the core of the FCT, exploring how key policies and decisions shape lives across the city. From exclusive insights into the FCT administration to voices from the streets, we bring you stories that matter. Catch FCT in Focus every Saturday and Sunday at noon. Tune in for the latest stories directly from the nation's hearts.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on ADBN TV for business information, latest happening business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on ADBN TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Welcome back from that. Still discussing political strategies of the ADC ahead of the 2027 general elections. I had been discussing with Kazim Olamilekong right there, and unfortunately we'll get that connection ready. But we're still discussing this membership drive. What really determines a young person's decision to pick one political party or the other? That's the crux of the matter right here. The ADC has made it very clear that it is positioning to be the young people's party. However, does that also mean that the likes of Amechi, that are part of the ADC, we have Peter Obi, who is part of the ADC, we have Atiku, we have David Mark, and Erufai. These are some individuals who have not made their intentions to be president, to run for the #1 seat in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They have not made their intentions hidden. So how, if you look at this collage of people, I would not point at a young person right there. However, how is this going to play out? What is the distinct ideology? Unfortunately, I would agree with a lot of others who would tell you that the ADC's ideology has not been very distinct and very obvious. Rather it has been one that almost as if just let's bring Tinubu down, let us bring Tinubu down, has been what it seems like. And so it will be good to hear what the ADC stands for, what the ADC's ideology is, so Nigerians would know. Kazim, have you joined? Hello, Kazim. Okay, so we're still trying to get that connection ready right there. But it's exciting too to have the conversation about the ADC positioning itself. ADC's a parent body have not necessarily had it good, where it's complaining about the ADC, this alignment with other political parties. Okay, well, the question still persists as to youth engagement cited as critical for political change. What would change with the ADC, even though it has recently told yourself that it's a formidable political force ahead of 2027 general elections? What would change? Does the ADC plan to convert youth enthusiasm into long-term political action? With the coming of Peter Obi into the ADC, would he enjoy that organic followership that he had during his sting with the Labour Party? Is he still trusted? Are young people rallying around him as the matter in some quarters when you ask? So that leaves time shall tell. It would leave us to time right there to understand what would eventually unfold right there. So it's interesting times that is coming. The role of young people are rather playing, not just within the party structure, but in shaping national policy priorities, is another very important question. Because when we look at these administration, believe it or not, this is the first time we actually see younger faces make up the cabinet of the president, unlike the Buhari administration, where it seemed like young people were just positioned for script writing, to be essays and all of that, and it was highly criticized. Again, when you look across Africa, I guess we're not doing so badly now, are we? I mean, we are not to compare. We are the giants of Africa. We often are very quick to say we have the numbers more than other parts of the country or of the continent. However, it's also we have to also pat ourselves in the back. I mean, when you look at Museveni of Uganda, who is 81 in the 7th administration, I guess you would know that we're not doing so badly. However, of course, we can absolutely always do better to ensure that we do not lose track young people still have opportunities to serve the nation. And as we start this build up towards the 2027 elections, there's so much that has to be done. Young people have also often been criticized of not getting their hands dirty, not in the literal sense, of course, but in the sense of getting themselves known to the grassroots enough to be welcomed. They're engaged from afar, while the older generation politicians would go there. All of a sudden they are helping to fry akara. All of a sudden you see individuals who would never hug a dirty farmer. All of a sudden they are hugging dirty farmers. Call it photo ops, call it what you may, but these are little things that endear the grassroots to you. So young people who have these ideas to also run for political offices, now is the time to get to your grassroots and get people to understand what your ideologies are. Political parties have a huge role to play in ensuring also that beyond the young people's getting endeared by grassroots, that party forms are not too expensive, and that's where I was hoping Kazim would respond to. Party forms, this was one of the issues we had. Party forms got to as much as 50 million naira, 100 billion naira. If you want to run, you must really, in Nigeria, elections are very expensive. So political parties have a long the bulk of the work to do in ensuring that young people have opportunities and are not necessarily cut off because of financial constraints. There are issues of acceptability within the party. We had that conversation here on Joy Asonya Live severally, where candidates will tell you right off the bat that they have opportunities to run, but they were summoned. All pun intended, they were summoned by the older political leaders in the party, who would say, you know what, we see your drive, we know your vision, we applaud what you've got, we see that you have the energies for this office, but give it to this individual because he has been here in the party for longer. He has contributed to the party for longer. So that was conversations that a lot of young people had, especially with the APC, I must say. That was it. It was under the guise of what we started embracing so much as a consensus. That consensus became a buzzword during the past elections. Okay, we are not running the primaries as it should be. It's a consensus. Everyone has accepted that this is what we wanted, and you sometimes have no opportunity to fight it. Your entire political party has aligned with individuals, what we may casually call the cabal. Well, it is what it is, and so you count your losses and go back to your business. But these are fundamental issues that young people face in their political journey. Not to mention, I had always shared this experience where young people, where I joined a certain candidate of a political party to go do the consultations. I think that, yeah, the consultations with traditional leaders. It turns out, and of course we also know that the traditional leaders are often appointed by state governors. So he went to go have his consultations, and the traditional leaders told him straight to his face that, listen, we see you, you are part of us, you are our child, but unfortunately the governor wants us to vote this individual. You go settle with the governor before we can even admit you enough to give you our support. So these are issues that all stakeholders really have to bring their heads together to solve, just so that we have young people have opportunities also to serve. That absolutely is not to say that when the people themselves, not political leaders, not stakeholders here who, by the way, all just have one vote. People, these who they led, the voters, those whose development is at stake if nothing is done. If those individuals do not come up and stand up for what they believe is right, voting for their conscience, then it will continue. Imagine for a minute, hypothetically speaking, that a political leader decides that I do not want this one, let's do a consensus, and all of a sudden you're picking who you want as your preferred candidate, and the person, you don't subject them to the exercise of an election, of the primaries election, and you pick someone, and the people say, no, that's not the person we want. Collectively, you will see that it will change. That strong influence and hold that this all the political parties, all the political leaders have would weaken, because at the end of the day, democracy is about people. And if the people do not stand up, they cannot shake the table. The table is standing because of the people. So political consciousness indeed has to, we need to reawaken political consciousness in people. I'm hoping, moving on to the 2027 general elections, that some of the issues that we recorded during the past elections, of course, I'm not envisaging the scarcity of currency that we had during that time. It was really bad, not just for businessmen, for everybody who wanted to do anything. It was not just to transact with physical cash. It was just as bad to do bank transfers, because it just was terrible. It was terrible. There was a lot of hitches. Banks, the bank servers were is it colliding now? They call it in tech terms, but it was so bad that sometimes you try to make to do a transaction and it doesn't go through, your monies are not returned until you go to the bank. There were several transactions that I personally forgot because I just could not follow through in getting my monies back. But yes, I don't envisage that the 2027 general elections will have such challenges. We had at some point scarcity of fuel that made it even worse. So people couldn't even move around. It was expensive to move around. So those are fundamental issues I do not envisage, and I'm hoping we don't ever have that. But we also have the intimidation that happened, and that is where young people's input has to come. How can we ensure that you are not a tool used to intimidate people? How can we ensure that you understand that election no be war? People died needlessly. Some young men were shot at because they were at this 21st century trying to run off with ballot boxes. So those are unfortunately what we still record in our electionary story. So we need so much to do with young people understanding what politics is, understanding the role that they play in ensuring a seamless, free, fair, and credible elections. Well, I was hoping to have a very robust conversation with Kozim. Unfortunately, network didn't let us do that. But rest assured, we will still have that conversation where we dissect how important the ADC is positioning against the All Progressive Congress, the PDP, and the Labour Party. I hear the Labour Party has it's also in the same vein, trying to get its act right. So much is going on. Interesting times in our democratic journey. The landscape is changing. Alignments are happening. Engagements are going on. In fact, consultations are going on at the moment. It's a very wonderful time to be alive here in Nigeria. But this is where we end today's edition of Joy Asonya Live. Do have yourself a wonderful evening.